All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Monday. No, we'd rather wish it was still the weekend. Welcome to today's Microsoft Flight Simulator live stream. I am your host and pilot, Uncle B. Today we are on leg 20 of 32, heading to Indonesia, the former Dutch East Indies, 1930s KLM route. Started in Amsterdam. We are in Jodhpur. We are heading to Agra today. Should be a fairly straightforward flight. I've kind of broken up today's flight. We got a leg of 154 nautical miles and then a leg of 115 nautical miles, and then we'll be done. Waiting to see if anybody is going to join in. I don't think anybody will, but we'll find out. So, I did not. Let me check something here. Gotta find the. Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay, I think I got that better this time. That should work. I changed the ads thing, so hopefully it's going to be a much better ad experience for everybody. All right, so yeah, just waiting to see if anybody is going to join in this morning. I don't know that anybody will. But I am near our departure runway of runway 23 already. Just taxied out here and just sitting here checking out the scenery, such as it is. Just check one other thing. Well, we're still waiting to see if anybody's gonna. Yeah. All right. So now it's 4 minutes of ads. I've spread it out every 45 minutes. Well, yeah, every 45 minutes I'll do a. So yeah, 4 minutes of ads every 45 minutes. That's probably a little bit better. Hello, Joseph. How are you? Waiting to see if anybody's going to pop in. And I've turned it on to wait at least half an hour after I start streaming before the first ads roll. So, yeah. So waiting to see if anybody will join in. I don't expect anybody to, but we'll see if anybody wants to. If not, it's quite all right. I'm back. Had to plug my iPod my earbuds in for to be charged up. I got an appointment later today, so when I ride the bus, I like to have some music to listen to. All right, let me double check the. Says one friend online, but I don't know if I don't think Joseph. I don't know. Para didn't say if he was flying today. I don't think Mick is. He wasn't sure, but he may have other obligations today. So we are waiting to see. We'll give it a little bit longer, and then probably about 7:25 we'll get onto the runway and we'll head out, and because it'll take us a minute. We're gonna take off. We're gonna head out that direction, and then we're gonna hang a left and head basically that away somewhere. Oh, he's in the swimming pool. Okay, I think he might be. Yeah, he might be. That's fine. I asked him in, hello, Para. I need to work out later on. Bought the junker. Didn't have. That's fine. That's fine. It's that's fine, Para. If you want to fly still, you're more than welcome to. You can pick a different plane, whatever you want to do. I'll get you in if you want. I typically fly. There's 3 different versions, I think. Yeah. Well, there's a float version, but you have a retrofit. You have a more traditional Junkers 52. I like this one because it has more of the modern navigation stuff, which makes it a little bit easier for me to get from point A to point B. The Douglas DC-3. That will be coming, I think. Is it DC-3 or DC? We're getting a DC something. I know, well, PMDG's got a DC-6. You can get that on the PC if you have it. If you have a PC version, you can get the DC-6. But it's a very in-depth aircraft. Very in-depth. Like, there's a whole major manual for it. That in-depth. But there is I think a DC-3 coming in November for free. There's a bunch of free stuff coming, and they've only hinted at some of it, not all of it. So, but yeah, if you want to fly today, Para, let me know and I'll get you in. If not, it's quite all right. Whatever you want to fly. Yeah. Well, the DC-6, and it may come to the Xbox eventually. It's just that there was all these problems with the coding and all that kind of stuff. I don't. It's a very long, let's just say when PMDG released it, it exposed a lot of problems for the Xbox. That's how we got to this point where now they have to fix this WASM issue. But anyway, so anyway, that's where we're at. So yeah, if you want to fly today, Para, you're more than welcome to. If not, it's quite all right. Just let me know. I'll check the chat here in a minute, but like 30 minutes. Like okay, all right. There's an airport there is kind of like an airport simulator, but it's like you have to manage the air traffic. That's all. It's not like anything, major. So, all right. So, if Para, you're not going to join. I don't think Mick is. Let me just double check to make sure nobody else is in. I think we're on the. I'll put it in here. We're on the North. It's North Europe. Yeah, North Europe server. If anybody wants All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and taxi out on the runway. If we don't have any takers today, which is fine. I'm showing online, so if anybody wants, if they join in, or they can click on me and join in the air, or whatever, it's fine. Yeah, I'll be flying the rest of the week, as far as I know, unless something changes that I'm not aware of. But I'll be flying tomorrow. We're doing A320 service from Cape Town to Johannesburg, South Africa. That's fine. That's okay. Whatever works for you. I don't know if Amel's going to even join in either. That's okay. It's not everybody's cup of tea to fly across India. No pun intended. All right. Okay, we are fairly lined up. This is as good as it's going to get, I think. All right. Okay. Go ahead and close the window. All right. We're going to get going then. Got the clock running. So I'm estimating right now. From what I can figure out, it's going to take us an hour and 45 minutes to get to our first nav point. Now, we may get there before that, we may get there a little after that, but I'm kind of guesstimating that that's what our expectation is. There we go, it just takes off on its own. All nice and easy, look at that. What a swell plane this is. Alright. I love that. It just bounces up a little bit, and then we're in the air. I know, Mr. Adams, but you need to have a PC or an Xbox. You can't do it on the PS5. That's the only drawback. So. That's the only thing. Alright, we're good enough now. We're going to change this to 073. Alright. Yeah, that's why I found that KLM route, para, and so that was why when I was looking for some historic routes, basically, that's why I picked it, because it was like, well, this would be kind of a fun thing to do. So, here we are. We did start in a Fokker F-7B, but it's a plane that has a lot of issues. The flying model doesn't really fly correctly, for lack of a better term. So I switched back over here to the Junkers 52, and it's been a much better flight, I think, overall. So we're going to stick with the Junkers 52 all the way to the end. Kind of the story is the KLM contacted Deutsche Lufthansa and said, hey, can you fly this route for us? And Deutsche Lufthansa said, sure, why not? Yeah. Well, the intent was we were trying to do these old vintage aviation sort of thing. And so we that's what the intent was, basically. So, all right. So the clock is running. So yeah, that was the whole point of it, was to have like an older aircraft flying this classic route. KLM did it in the 1930s. They did it in a week, but they would fly multiple legs throughout the day until it was sundown, and then they would stop for the night, as for the sunset, so that they could land appropriately. And all right, I think we can put the flaps up. Well, there was a lot of tri-motors back in the day, in the 1920s and 1930s. It became the kind of like the standard of aviation, was to have 3 motors. I know there was a Ford tri-motor. I think this was before Douglas, the Douglas Corporation was even around. So, all right, let's get off the throttle just a smidge here. Look at her. Yep. Well, what do you mean the right choices? I'm not sure what you mean, Barrow. Well, yeah, there is a, in November, there's a whole bunch of free stuff coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator for I think it's the 20th anniversary or something like that of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I think the DC, well, I think this is the closest to the Douglas. I just know that the Junkers were, they did fly in South America. They flew all over Europe in the interwar years between the end of World War One and the beginning of World War Two, and even into part of World War Two. Junkers were flying for Deutsche Lufthansa. That was the German airline that was basically an arm of the Luftwaffe, basically. Whether they want to admit it or, well, basically that's what it was. The pilots were all Luftwaffe pilots, and so then when they were flying from Germany to the UK, for instance, they were on spy missions, essentially. So I don't know that this is necessarily close to the Douglas. It's just that there are Douglas aircraft, or things like the Douglas, but it's all on the PC side for right now. But in November, we're getting a bunch of stuff for that. I think it's either DC3 or DC. It's a DC something. I remember that much. I'll have to look up the news thing that says it. But if you go to the forums, if you go to the news area, it talks about all that stuff that's coming in November. But that's not everything. Jorg has basically said, this is what they're telling us right now, but there's still more to come that they haven't even talked about yet, that we're getting in November. So it was just kind of a teaser. For the Xbox, we're getting helicopters for the first time, finally. Like actual helicopters, not like these little drone-looking things. Actual helicopters. There's 2 of them. Yeah, so we're getting a bunch of stuff in November. Everybody's getting it, regardless if you're on Xbox or PC. But for the Xbox folks, it's a big bonus because now we're finally getting helicopters and all that. So I this is I like this. This was the first local legends, as they call it, when Germany was a world update. This came with it. Well, it didn't come. It was available after the world update for Germany. I think it was Germany, Austria, something like that. But anyway, so this was the first one by far. I think it's the best. The Fokker F7 seemed like it was going to be okay, but it's been kind of no major updates have been released, although the Junkers 52 has received, I think, good attention. They've, kept making some slight adjustments here and there. So, yes, that's the thing, and I made it clear that even if I fly this, it doesn't mean that I agree with the politics of Germany during that period of time. It's just that it's a classic plane. I like to fly it, and that's all it is. Just like when I fly a MiG or anything else, it does not mean that I agree with any politics or anything. It's just I'm flying the plane to fly it. That's it. But some people don't separate the two. So, anyways, yeah, we're just going to cruise along. I don't think we're going to go up very high today because I don't expect that there was any significant anything that we're going to have to fly over, any mountains or anything like that. So we've been in the air for about 10 minutes now. So we hit the stopwatch. We started that. So I'm going to try to see if my estimation is about right as far as our time. Yeah. That was, and I know when I found the route and I saw what it was basically, it was a former Dutch East Indies trading sort of thing. That's what it was like a business, trip basically. I know it's not the most pleasant part of world history, but it is what it is. Again, it's not that I'm agreeing with what anybody did or didn't do, whatever. It's just we're flying because when I looked at the route, when I and I think I told this story the other day, and I'll repeat it again for those of you who didn't hear it. Basically, when I started flying with Captain Arish when I joined him in his crew, I guess, over in Perth, Australia, and I started flying with them in the Cessna 172, and I started thinking about, well, I'd like to do a historic route. What sort of things did this, what routes did this plane fly? And then somebody on the forum basically told me about this it was a Deutsche Lufthansa route that went from Berlin to Athens, and so we did it in chunks. We'd fly from one point to another, and then we'd stop there, and then the next time we'd fly another leg of it till we got all the way to Athens. And then I'm like, well, if that was Deutsche Lufthansa, I should say, not, I had to break up the word because that's how it was back then. Then I was like, well, what about KLM? They must have had a historic route, and that's when I looked it up, and I was like, and if you go on on my Discord, Para, there's a part where it says the like a KLM route, and you can click on the picture and it'll show you the whole route from beginning to end. But they did it in 7 days, and when I was like, no, that's just going to be too much to do. I can't fly that often during the week. It would just, I can't do like 3 or 4 legs in a day. It'd just be too much to do. So I broke it up, and I ended up with 32 legs. And I'm like, okay, that's doable. And then I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that? And so then I thought, well, if I do it on Mondays and Wednesdays, I think that's reasonable to do. And so it's just worked out that way. So we're more than halfway there now. We've got, on this leg we have 12 legs. Tomorrow will be, or Wednesday will be leg 21, so we'll be down to 11 legs left. So I was going to do it Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, but I'm like, I think it would just be too much, 3 days out of the week, so. But again, I know it's not the most exciting thing, we're over India, and there's nothing really to see here, it's pretty barren, although this looks like farmland. Here, you could see it all blocked out like it's farmland, but I don't know what the... That's fine, Parrot. Whenever you can, it's fine. It's not a... It's okay. If you can, you can. If you can't, it's okay. Like I said, I know it's not always the most exciting thing. It's not really much to see. It's pretty flat. Not a lot of features. So... It's okay. Yes, exactly. That is correct. And see, the funny thing is, a lot of the places that we're flying now are places that initially people would say, well, can you fly here? And so now I'm doing it, but now the same people that wanted all that are no longer really watching, I guess. So I think it's more they wanted the live weather, and they wanted to see me land somewhere and see if they can make me crash and all that kind of silly crap. But anyway, so yeah, but yeah, we're almost done with this. I'm gonna try to find another historic route. I know there's one. Yeah, I think it would be a long flight though. I know there was one from Berlin to London. I think that would be a bit of a long flight. I think they stopped somewhere along the way for fuel, and then they went across the channel, but I have to look it up. Oh, Para, it's completely fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Yeah, I'm going to try to find more historic routes. I know there's one down in South America. There was a couple routes down there, I think, that I'd like to do, but we'll see how that goes. Because basically what they did, the management of Deutsche Lufthansa, they went to South America and basically said, hey, we'd like to come over here and do passenger and mail service for you guys. What do you guys think? And they signed an agreement. Now, this was in the early days of World War II. The world hadn't really known what was happening in Germany overall. And so when these countries found out what was happening, they confiscated the property, all the planes and everything else, and they kicked the employees out of their country. So they would not be accused of I guess, working with the Third Reich. Because then if it was found out, if their own country people found out like that, they were in cahoots with the Third Reich, that they would it would not go very well. So I'll just put this over here as well, so I haven't picked up that VOR DME yet. Yeah, they kicked all those people out of their countries, and they confiscated the planes and whatever else, any equipment that was confiscated, and they were kicked out of there. So yeah, there's a whole history that I didn't know when I was doing some research about, the Junkers 52 and where it flew, besides in service of the Third Reich. When I found that out, I was like, wow, they were in South America. It makes sense, though, from a point of view of, if they could establish a foothold, I guess, in a way, in South America, then they were a step closer to to America, and I don't know if that was their intention, but if it was, it makes sense. You want to try to get as close to your enemy as possible to try to, either cause destruction there, or to, just the fear alone. If people knew that the Third Reich was in South America, people would have freaked out, and then it would have been like, well, how come we didn't stop this? So. But luckily, I guess things were found out, and not that South America was going to do anything necessarily. They weren't part of the war effort, but I think for the fact of they didn't want the appearance that they were, siding with these terrible people. But anyway, I don't want to get into the politics. But basically that's what happened. All that kind of stuff. So, but it is a good plane. I'm thankful that we get a chance to fly something like this. It's awesome, regardless of the history of who did what and when and all that other stuff. I appreciate it for the fact that it's a classic plane, even though it's got more modern. There is a version that is pretty much like this in real life. It has the modern avionics kind of, and so. I appreciate that part of it. I don't particularly care so much for the politics of the whole thing. So anyway, let's see. We've been in the air now 21 minutes. Well, we've been flying roughly since as soon as we started rolling, I started the timer, so I may have started a little bit too early. I don't know, but we're gonna see if my estimations are fairly correct. So and we haven't picked up that signal. It might be a low power VOR DME. I'm guessing we'll see it and it'll say like 130 nautical miles to our first nav point. We'll see. But I'm going to try to not use the little VFR map. I'm going to try to fly. So another thing, kind of changing the subject here, so we don't get tied up in politics and all that. There's a book, and you can get the physical copy, or if you've got a Kindle or an e-reader or something, you can find it on that as well. It's called. Hold on a second. Let me go grab my Kindle. All right, so we're gonna. I'm looking at math, or as Mick will say, maths. The navigating while flying. Now, I'm going to give you what my understanding is. Okay. In the early days, before all the avionics stuff with the VORs and all that, it was all visual flying. You know, you would have to look and say, okay, yep, I see the city, I know where we are. We've got this much farther to go on the, according to the chart. But it's all basically based on trigonometry. Even the GPS systems that we use today, the math that's used to pinpoint where you are is all based on trigonometry. Now, I am by no means an expert at trigonometry. I barely got through pre-algebra, let's put it that way. Me and math do not get along. But according to this book, what they try to do is they are basically trying to explain the math in a way that people who are not math experts can kind of grasp the concepts of it. So it's called, hold on a second, it's called Understanding Mathematics for Aircraft Navigation. So this guy, he's a math guru, I guess. He's some kind of, I guess, a civil engineer or mechanical engineer. So, he's got to have a lot of math background. He says it's written for pilots and mathematicians alike, but if you kind of go through it and you keep working at it, you'll understand the concepts. So the thing is, what I'd like to try to do, and this is something that I would like to get good because of Captain Arish, right? He called when his group is called the Compass Club. They do not use. Now, if you use GPS yourself, that's your choice. He wants everybody to navigate via the compass and visual references. It's not always easy to do because sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming, but if you, just like when I learned about VOR flying, VORs to VORs, I was like, this is just, how do I do this? It doesn't make any sense. And then when, eventually I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. I think I understand the concepts now. So yeah, I would like to try to do that and not rely on the little map thing or whatever. We dial in our VOR, we follow the path, and we see how close we are. I know if we keep along this way, we'll eventually run into it. We may be a little bit off, we may be right on it, who knows. But that's the intent. I'd like to be able to fly a little bit more that way. Now, once we pick up the signal, and let me make sure I have my correct. It should be correct. Yep. That's the frequency for that VOR DME. Yeah, hopefully we won't have any issues. Now, I did get a picture of the plane on the runway, and I think that's sufficient for our picture for today. Nobody else is here. So yeah, I want to work through some of that to figure out how I can best calculate or know my position, where I am, flying wise, and how much farther I've got to go. I'm sure if I look on You know, because they did have charts. You know, they didn't fly blindly necessarily. But I don't see this river. I do not see the river. I don't think. I was hoping we would have picked up that VOR DME so that we would know roughly where we are, how much farther we got to go, and then I can try to guesstimate our position. Just some low. I think we'll more than clear that. It doesn't look like it's too high. All right, check you later. Catch you later, Para. Thanks for stopping by for a while. See ya. Yeah, see, this river is not on my sky vector chart. Not even like any kind of a line to suggest that there's a waterway there. So I don't really know. Still nothing. We've been almost 30 minutes. And see, the other thing too is because there's no autopilot and I can't just set it on a course and say follow heading of 073. I can't just pop out here. I mean, I can pop outside for a little while, but I have to keep an eye on our compass. So that I, try to keep the plane going the correct direction. So yeah, I have tried to change the ads, so it's instead of 9 minutes of ads, it's just going to be 4 minutes of ads. So like two 2-minute ads or 4 1-minute ads, something like that. So try to make it a little bit easier on everybody. So there's that. Let me see if I can find that on the charts. I think I see where we're coming up to there. that low sort of hills or whatever. So I think I know where we are roughly. So we're not quite, we're almost halfway to our first nav point. Looks like we're getting there. We should, I would have thought we would have picked it, but it may just be that it's so low power that it can't get over this little hilly area right here. So it may be that it's not, but maybe as we get closer to that, we'll get a signal and then we'll know how much further we got to go. I think we're making really good time, to be honest. Yeah, I think today's going to be one of those quiet days. Mondays are always the difficult day. Sometimes I feel like I should just not stream on Mondays because it's just like, I don't know. Anyways. Tomorrow we are in the, as I was saying earlier, for those of you who might not have heard, we're in the A320neo departing from Cape Town heading to Johannesburg. I don't think that's going to be a very long flight. Wednesday we'll be back in the Junkers 52 heading from Agra to Allahabad. I might be butchering that, sorry. Thursday we will be in the Cessna 152. We will be in Vietnam. Tan Son Nhat International going to Lam Dong. And then Friday we'll be in the Cessna 208 going from Lukla to Paro. Some mountain flying on Friday in the Cessna 208. So if you want a bit of a roller coaster ride, when we depart from Lukla, we're going to take off and then start flying, and then we're going to go through a valley, and then we'll pick up our headings and all that, and then we'll make our way to Paro, and it will be good. So, but we will not use. We're going to have to hand fly it through once we take off and start getting through the mountains, and then hanging a left to go towards Paro. We have to get out of those mountains and all that before we can activate the autopilot and all that. So and then Saturday we will be going from Salem to Olympia. That shouldn't be too bad of a flight. And then Sunday I will be flying the Cessna 172 floatplane. We're in Long Lakes heading to Boston Harbor area. So some more water takeoff and landing on Sunday. Some nice scenery there. I don't think that's going to be a very long flight. I don't expect it to be. So yeah, that's what we got coming up this week. So if you want to join on any of those, except Sunday, no multiplayer on Sunday. But throughout the rest of the week, we've got multiplayer enabled. So if you want to join, you're more than welcome to. If you just want to hang out, and you're more than welcome to do that too. Surprised we haven't had any. Well, I know that once we get closer to our first nav point, there is an airport there, so we may pick up a radio traffic there. Still nothing there. Okay. But this thing just wants to go all over the place. So 38 minutes flying so far. I think and hope I'm right that I started the chronometer correct, or the stopwatch, whatever, at the correct moment. Either I have to figure it out. Do I start it once the wheels are up, like we have a positive rate of climb, or is it when we're, starting to roll down the runway, or do I start it when we're heading the correct direction? So that part I don't know. So it's a bit of a learning experience. Actually, let me make a note here on my... Make sure I'm not going too far off the line here. So that way I can kind of get an idea of if my estimations were really far off or fairly close to correct, or or nowhere near anything. So, trying to learn. And it's not necessary that everybody does this as well. It's up to you if you want to. I'm just doing it for my own education, I guess. Try to be a better sim pilot when possible. Alright, so yeah, this is that low mountain area. I think we should have enough clearance to get over this stuff. I can't expect it to be... if we were over that way, then I'd be more worried, but I think we'll be okay here. Going kind of right through here. We can climb a little bit if we want. Just to get a little bit more altitude. Still no signal. Maybe, like I said, maybe once we're on the other side. I think once we're past here, that should be our halfway point. Now on the other side, somewhere over here somewhere, there should be an airport. So if we spot that, then I'll know roughly where we are. But I'm curious to see why we haven't heard from them as far as because we're going into their airspace basically. And I think I don't know if it's an air base, or there's a lot of air bases along here. Very few civilian airports, strict, like that's all they're used for, or a combination of the two. It just seems like everything's all military air bases along here. Yeah. Yeah, I think if we're um, if we are where I think we are based on this land feature right here, these little low mountains and all that. I have a good feeling I know where we are overall. But I'm curious to see if maybe we will pick up that VOR DME signal once we're past all this. I think I scared everybody away with all the technical talk and talking about math. Oh boy, we're getting pushed all over the place here. I'll just keep checking the chat here. Anybody else pops in and says hello. I don't think it's not going to be very chatty chat today, other than Pear and I talking about KLM and Lufthansa or Deutsche Lufthansa, all that kind of stuff. Junkers 52. So I think it's gone quiet, so that's okay. Let's see if we can see that airport. It's got to be out here somewhere. No, okay. Hold on a second. Zoom in. So I think I know where we are. Not sure. Okay, so the airport should be coming up on the right, somewhere right over here. We should be able to see the runway because we're going to be right. We'll be flying fairly close to it, so. All right, 46 minutes, so still might have about an hour to go to our first nav point. We'll see. Curious to see how close to good I am with the guessing, the estimating, the guesstimating. There we go. Guesstimating. Airport should be it's a single runway. It's pointing. Let's see. What's the almost northeast to southeast or southwest. Northeast, southwest is the runway, sort of how it's not going to be exactly in line with our flying, but it should be fairly noticeable from the air. not spotted. Look at this again. Right past that. So it should be like right over here somewhere, I think. Yeah, we should be able to spot it. It should be like right around here somewhere. I wonder if that's it right there. That looks like a runway right there. Yep, there it is. Okay. So now I know where we are. Still no VOR signal. That's interesting. We're more than halfway there. I'm surprised we haven't picked it up. It must be super low yield. Let's see. Maybe. Alright, so I'm thinking we're about 38 nautical miles into our 154 nautical mile trip. I could be wrong. No, wait, nope. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110. 110 nautical miles into our trip, I think. So we should, I would have thought we would have gotten a signal by now, but there's that airport. So that is that's not our waypoint yet. We're not quite there, but I'm surprised we haven't picked up the VOR DME from our first one. So if we're 110 nautical miles in, should have about 44 nautical miles left. I don't think that's correct either. I think we have about 60 nautical miles left. It would be nice if we had got that signal. I'm surprised we haven't, because if we're more than halfway there, Like a lot of crosswind. I'm trying to. I feel like I'm overcompensating for the crosswind. Still nothing. Right, there's that body of water there. See that. So we should have gotten a signal by now. I don't understand why we're not getting a... Oh, wait a second. No. Oh. Yeah. I don't know what's happening. I see this body of water, so our first nav point is somewhere up here in front of us. Somewhere up in there. Without any kind of signal, I don't know. Dang. Alright. This is perplexing me with it, because without that... Oops. So even that's not working. I don't know, maybe it's a bum BORDME, or it's so low power that we got to be almost right on top of it before we... Well, if we get to the airport, because it's right near an airport, so if we fly over that, then we'll know where we are. And then I'll write down when we cross the airport, and then we'll pick up our... we'll get our next nav point dialed in, and then... there's that body of water by my chart. Our destination is somewhere up in here. Well, not our destination, our first nav, I should say. Definitely going to be a quiet flight. I feel like I'm going to be talking to myself for quite a bit. Yeah. Well, what can you do? What would you do for a Klondike bar? I would fly across India in a 1930s plane. Can I have a Klondike bar now? Alright. Still nothing. Well, that's okay. We got our airport for our visual reference, so we can use that. If we don't get a signal on our VOR DME. There we go. 37. All right. Ta-da. So I wasn't too far off then on that guess. It said 44 miles left. Oh, so yeah, the math is just about adding up then. Yay, math works. Yay, math. Boy, that was a really low-powered VOR DME. Whew. Alright. I wonder if the other one's going to be the same. Well, there is a... I think it's an NDB. We could tune into... It's either an NDB or an ADF to help with our... I don't think we're going to need it. I think we're fine. Visually, we're good. We're going to visually navigate this today, and we're going to land where we expect to land. Yeah, saying it's about 31 minutes, so I think my estimations and everything so far are going to be correct. So it's saying we should be there in 31 minutes to our VOR DME there in front of us, somewhere up yonder. Well, as soon as we have sight of that airport, we know we're in the right spot. And we'll turn ever so slightly for our destination there at Agra Air Force Air Base, not Air Force Base, Air Base here in India. Just let the commercials play, I guess. There we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. We know where we are. I like this. This is working out much better than I expected it to. Let me see what kind of land is around the... Alright, so we have... See a bit of this stuff on the chart. So there's some low mountains, and then to the left of that. So the runways are running almost similar to our flight path. Maybe just a little bit off, but it should be easy to spot from the air. You guys are missing out on all this excitement, I tell you. Math is working. Plans coming together. Let's see if I can find is JP. Okay. Refresh that. On this. Let's see what the runway is. Alright, 09 and 27. So our VOR is right near runway 27, I do believe. By 27. Yep, that's exactly right. Perfect. So yeah, we are getting off course here a little bit. Alright, so I know what we're looking for now. Sort of, I think that's it right there. That looks like an airport. I think we've got our first nav point in sight. I like it. I like it a lot. Wow, what a good feeling. I have to admit, I'm always a little bit worried when I try this stuff on a stream, because I'm like, I'm going to probably screw this up, and we're going to get lost, and then we're going to be flying around India forever and then run out of gas and crash. So, yep, that is our airport that we are looking for, our first nav point. So a little bit off on the, I think, on the time. I think we've made better time than expected. Yeah, there it is right there. That is our first nav point. And we have 115 nautical miles to go to our destination. So yeah, I think I'm going to be about 30 minutes off on the timing. So what it may be then, we weren't flying for 20 minutes when I turned, so I don't think that's the case. I think we just had better speed than we expected. even though we kind of slowed down just a smidge, but there it is, right there. Yay, it's working. I like that. According to this, we were at an hour 16. It took us about, it's going to take us about an hour, maybe an hour 20, something, roughly. I'm going to be quiet now because there's going to be an ad showing here in about 7 minutes. I'm really impressed. It's gone much better than I expected it to. I don't know, maybe I never trusted myself to do this sort of stuff, so that it's just a different way of flying, different way of navigating, that's all, but it can be a bit daunting at first, to be honest. Be a bit overwhelming. Because it's not something, we get used to technology and everything, and kind of Captain R's pointed this out the other day in his Discord about that. If you constantly rely on technology, your in-car navigation system and your smartphone navigation and all that, eventually it's going to fail at some point. The systems will go down. How are you going to get from point A to point B if you don't know, basic navigation stuff? Even if it's a street, like say you're traveling downtown, well, how many blocks do you have to go? If you don't write down, like, well, if I go 30 blocks, I've gone 5 blocks too far. I've missed my turn, or missed my spot, whatever. So yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. Alright, so it looks like it's going to be about an hour. We'll make sure we pass that edge of the runway, right there, where the VOR DME actually is. And then we'll write down our time. I'll reset the stopwatch. We'll turn. Make our way towards our next nav point. We'll put all that stuff in. At least get turned. And it's not a very far turn. It's almost like where we're at now is where we have to go anyway. So we're just going to go ahead and put this on 079. That's our next point ahead of us. Runway in sight. There we go. Alright, so we should... I think we might be able to see it from here. It's right... I want to say this is the VOR DME right there in that little building right down there. Alright. So we did it in hour 22. Perfect. Reset. Oops. Alright, so now we gotta dial in 112000. Thing of 079. We have 115 nautical miles, so let's see. 104. It's saying an hour 10, maybe an hour 11. So I'm going to put an hour 11. We'll see. Oh, we already picked up our second signal. Nice. I like it. Well, there we are, folks. So far, so good. There's the that's the localizer for that runway. Where is it? Runway 27. Alright, folks, we are on our way to our destination. Our second nav point is 109 nautical miles ahead of us. So we are doing well, making really good time. As soon as we're on the ground, we'll wrap things up for the day. About another hour or so of flying. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, give or take. I'm estimating an hour and 11, but we may get there much quicker. We made our first nav point. It was expected an hour 45. We did it in an hour 22. So, still working the kinks out of the math and trying to get our times down a bit more. But yeah, we're doing well. You guys are missing out on some classic navigating, kinda. We have tools that we can use to validate what's happening, but we're trying to fly visually as best as possible. Not using that VFR map anymore. We're just going to try to keep pointing in the correct direction and hope for the best. Expect for the worst and hope for the best. So far, it has been absolutely amazing, I think. At least for me personally. I don't know about for everybody else. I don't think everybody else could be arsed today, but that's okay. Be quite happy to report this flight to Captain Arish later. I'm sure he'll be quite pleased with my flying progress. He wasn't able to fly with Allison on Saturday. Still having technical difficulties, I guess. I don't know if he's flying tonight or not. It'd be nice if he was, so I could utilize the same sort of skills if possible. Yeah, really pleased that this has worked out this way today. Couldn't be happier. Well, I could be happier, but I really enjoy that it's, learning new skills, new ways to fly in the sim. Yeah, really enjoying it. It's unfortunate. I would have hoped that more people would have been here to witness this epic flight today. Although it's not been epic, but just knowing that just learning things, and that's the important part. So just kind of give a quick recap. We took off from Jodhpur, Jodhpur, and we're heading to Agra, Agra, Agra. Both of those are air bases in India. So sometimes getting information is very difficult as far as directions and which way to head and all that kind of stuff, but we're making it work. And then we're going to land here in about 99 nautical miles to go. That is to the VOR DME ahead of us. That is not we're going to line up on runway 05. So that will be, I believe, heading of, I think it's 046. So that's our runway heading 046. For golf, not just golf, but golf. I'm guessing. Wait, I know what's going to happen. In about 50 nautical miles. Suddenly, everybody's going to come in here and want to say hello and chat. That's what's going to happen. About 50 nautical miles. That's my guess. That's my prediction. Joseph will suddenly come back. Mick may pop in if he might be lurking right now. I don't know. Nobody else has popped in, but I'm guessing suddenly I will see a spike in viewers, and then everybody will want to. What I'm trying to get ready to land. That's the normal, standard operating procedure, it seems, on my stream. We'll get another quick picture here in the air since we're doing very well flying wise. Well, I kind of like that picture right there. That's a good shot. I like that. Yo, perfect. You don't even have to move around. I like that shot right off the bat. Sometimes it gives you a good view right off the bat. Good shot to take. Oh, this weekend was the debut race of the Peugeot 9X8 hypercar for the world. Oh, goodness gracious, we are going way, way off here. For the World Endurance Championship. I don't think they finished in the points, but they had a bit of reliability issues, but the car, I have to admit, looks phenomenal. It really does. It looks amazing. It's got this gray and black livery with just a hint of yellow in a few spots, but amazing looking car. I hope they get their car sorted for the next race. You went and got some water. You were gone for over an hour, Joseph, and you just went to go get water. Where'd you go? All the way to the Thames River or something? Jeez. Yeah, really fascinating car. But they finished, although they had some technical issues, but they finished the race, which is an achievement all on its own when it's a new car. But I really hope that they can sort it for the next race, improve some reliability, and can give Toyota and Alpine a fight at the front, even though they're so far behind in the points. But to take points away from those two teams would be amazing. I would, well, more so Toyota. I don't really have anything against Alpine. I really like to. You had to find some ice cubes. Where'd you go? To the frickin' North Pole or something? Goodness gracious. Yeah, the car looks amazing. What was it? I was going to look for something. What was it? I forgot what it was now. I was going to look for something. What was it? I was thinking about something. What was I going to... put. What was I going to look for? Oh well, I guess it wasn't that important. So yeah, you have missed some math, Joseph. We've been using some math. We are on our way to our destination. The expected time is an hour and 11 minutes to get to our destination, but we may get there quicker. We only have 85, just under 86 nautical miles to go. We're doing quite well. We have Oh, that's what that's what I was going to do. Duh. Was I download this picture? Download a couple of pictures. I want to post. Mick is at the beach. Okay. No, that's good. As long as he doesn't get sunburnt, that's what's happened in the past. And then he couldn't game because he was in pain because of the sunburn. That's fine. So yeah, I've been timing. I've got a stopwatch app now on my laptop, so I can try to time it, because if I do it on my watch, I forget and I don't look at my watch, enough to. So I put a little stopwatch thing up on my toolbar up at the top of the laptop there, digital one, and so yeah, it's worked out well. We're traveling well. We're navigating well. That's the important part. So, yeah, I hope not too, because last time it happened, he was miserable. He couldn't game. He couldn't. Yeah, he was in pain because of that. So, hopefully, he puts on the sunscreen, covers himself, and maybe he needs to take a bath in the sunscreen or just sit in a pool of sunscreen. He'll be fine. I don't know if that would work out. I don't think that would feel comfortable after a while. But at least he'd be protected. Anyways. So yeah, it's been quiet. Nobody's really said boo. Most of the pair talked for a while, and he dipped out, and so I've been sitting here talking to myself most of the time. So stuff. Yeah, missed out. We're aviating and navigating. That's the important part. Let's see, we are 80 nautical miles out. I want to start dumping a little bit of altitude. Maybe starting to throttle back just a bit so we... No. Well, I wasn't me specifically, Joseph. I didn't mean it literally. I just meant nobody's been saying much of anything. Well, nobody's talked at all. I've been talking to myself. That's what I'm saying. So, it's fine. It's Monday. It's just how it is. It's fine. Mel might be at work. I don't know. Might have had to go into work early, just didn't get a chance to say anything. I don't know, Joseph. That is a good question, but Amela comes in when Amela can. But I'm guessing Amella's at work. That's where Amella is. All right. Yeah, I think Mondays is just, it's a difficult day. Sometimes it's, we get people coming in, and other times it's people just have work or other things going on, and so they can't always be here, so it's fine, like I said, you know. So people can watch it on the replay tomorrow on YouTube. It'll be about noontime, Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to try to keep them all loading up at around noon or thereabouts, so that it's, you guys can know if when to expect it on YouTube. I will be putting in my description stuff for YouTube. If you want to watch me fly live, I will put a link to the Twitch channel in the description. So you're more than welcome to come and hang out and watch it over on Twitch if you want, if you're able to. You want to fly with me? The multiplayer is open Monday through Saturday. No multiplayer on Sunday. We do our scenic flights, and I prefer to fly solo Sundays. And if you want to know what we're up to for the day, for the flight, I try to post in the flight plan, or kind of in some information for the flight for next day. I will post tomorrow's flight. I'm going to try to get that knocked out before I've still got plenty of time, but I'll get that put in and posted on the Discord once we wrap this up. We are 60. For some reason I thought we were 40. I don't know why I was thinking 40, but we are 68 nautical miles away from our destination. We'll get a little bit closer. I think once we're about 40 nautical miles out, maybe even 30, we'll call in and tell them we're coming in from landing. Actually, let's see if our list, it's on the list yet. Nearest airport. We are going to... Nope, it's not there yet. That's perfectly fine. Oh, someone just posted something on... Ah. Oh. Ooh, wow. That sucks. Ooh, crap. Wow. How in the world did that happen? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Wow, this thing is just like suddenly I got blown. Way off course. Goodness gracious. Man. I did not expect that. I just looked away for a second. All of a sudden, I'm like way to the right. Wow. Okay. Don't know what happened there, but okay. Whew. That must have been one heck of a strong gust of wind to blow me that far off. Man, insane. Wow, okay. Yep, and Joseph disappeared again. Man. Oh well, at least I had somebody to talk to for a few minutes. Oop, 58 nautical miles to go to our destination. Got a little sidetracked, had a big gust of wind that pushed us to the right. And now I'm buffering, so I'm going to refresh. Wow, look at that. It's doing it again. It's like wanting to go all the way to the... There we go. It's pushing me to the right. Pushing me off course. Anyway, let's see. 29 minutes on this track. I think we're going to get there well before the hour, in a 1 hour 11 minutes estimation. I'm guessing it's going to be closer to 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes to get to her. Still got a little bit more flying to go, so anything can happen. Well, Not anything, but we're doing well. We're doing very well today. So we'll get this downloaded and started processing or over on YouTube. And then I will post the flight information for tomorrow's flight if anybody's going to join. I'm not holding my breath, but who knows? Somebody needs to. Well, I don't know. A lot of people don't like flying jetliner stuff, so that's fine. A lot of crosswind here, and it's just clear skies. But I guess even with clear skies, there's still these gusts of wind that pop up every so often and cause havoc. So, right, let's see if we are close enough to call into our arrival airport. There it is. Ta-da! And there we go. Get a little bit closer. We'll start slowing down. Start dropping some altitude. Matter of fact, we can get off the throttle a little bit more now. Did very well on the gas economy today. More than enough fuel if we had to go around. Not in any danger of running out of gas before we get to our destination. This thing is just a bit of a handful today, flying. Already confirmed. Freaking VA, I swear. Are you sure you want to keep this appointment? Yes. Told you guys that the other day. Goodness. See, now this thing just wants to make a run for the for the ground. Trying to drop a little bit of altitude, but not too much at once, so that we're at a pretty good place when we're ready to come in for landing. Goodness, look at this. It just wants to drop. Alright. See, now it's going to climb up, and then I got to worry about stalling. I don't want to stall the plane because we're not ready to land yet. This thing is just acting all kinds of funny today. Alright, so the VOR that we're tuned into, that's 45 nautical miles, that is on the... that's between the two runways, between 05 and 12. So... and our runway heading is 046. We're still kind of far. 44, we got to be at least, I think, 15 nautical miles away for the glide slope thing to come into play. So we know where to turn into. We'll get a little bit closer, and then we'll turn off the stuff and get ready to land. Thank you all for coming in today. Appreciate it. If you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, thank you for watching. Hope that you enjoyed the flight today. We'll be back tomorrow, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK in the A320neo, departing from Cape Town, heading to Johannesburg, South Africa. This thing is really a handful today. I don't get it. I'm going to drop some flaps. Just maybe that'll help with the stability. Maybe not. Okay. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn this off because I think we know where we're heading. As long as we keep that going the general direction of our VOR, because we're still tuned in and that it's still pointing in the correct direction. don't know if I turn this part on, do I get just the distance? I have to turn both. Big gusts of wind or something. I don't know what's happening. It's been weird today, but that's alright. We're getting there. Alright, 41 minutes. Almost 42 minutes that we've been on this track. So we still got a bit more flying to go. We were in like 38 nautical miles last time I turned that on just to see how much farther we had to go. So yeah, we're getting there. We should be getting. We should see our. I want to say. Is that it there? Is that a... There's 2 runways. I kind of feel like that's an airport there, but I could be wrong. We'll find out here in a bit. I'm going to turn the, well, no, I better keep this here because I got to keep an eye on that. Okay. folks, coming up soon. 29. I will be preparing for landing. I'm not looking at the chat, so if you put anything in, I will catch up to it once we are on the ground and the plane is under control. We'll call in for our landing or our parking instructions. We'll park it, we'll wrap things up, and we'll get out of here. Well, thank you, Joseph. I think I've done well without the luck today. We've done very well with the navigating, with just the visual references and the stopwatch that I have on my laptop, and just following our navigation aids, using the VORs. So we're good. Thank you anyway. Appreciate it. That's our runway heading. Ooh, boy, we are way off now. Boy, this wind is 3-knot winds, or even 3-mile-an-hour winds. This cannot be correct. We got to be getting massive gusts right now. So, anyways. Let's see where we're. Wow. Okay, now we're going like the complete opposite here. This thing is just. We're getting pushed all over the place today. Wow. This is insane. So it's saying our airport is roughly there in front of us. That's to the VOR. Oops, there's a third viewer. Now honestly, you guys are you never disappoint. Everybody starts to come in when I'm getting ready to land. I don't get it. You guys miss all this stuff. Oh well, it's your choice. What can I do? Kind of think that's an airport there. Yep, it's got to be our airport. So far on this track, it might be about an hour 11. It might be an hour 5. time we're on the ground. Cool. Is that ready? Nautical miles. Trying to find. I want to head towards the airport, but I don't want to go right for that VOR because I want to be able to line up on this runway 05, but our heading is 046 for our runway to land on. So for those of you who have missed pretty much the flight up until this point, what happened was we took off from Jodhpur. You're going to land here in Agra or Agra. Not sure which is the correct pronunciation. We did not use little VFR map the entire, other than to know which way when we took off, which way were we going to turn towards our track or which heading we were going to take up, or how to get to our heading towards our first nav point. There we go. There's that. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and turn that off. That off. And we yeah, it's been good. We navigated. I have a little stopwatch app now on my laptop. I'm using that to time roughly how long it will take us to get from point to point. Been a little bit off my estimations, but that's okay. We're learning. That's the important part. So yeah, you missed all that. So you can watch it tomorrow on YouTube. Or you can watch it again here on Twitch sometime today, but you missed all that, unfortunately. So really enjoyed it. Everything worked much better than I expected. I've never really done this type of navigating necessarily. I've tried and I've, come up, all kinds of wrong. But today it's worked out quite better than expected, so. We'll be on the ground in a moment. Well, yeah, okay, Joseph, thank you. I don't know what's been amazing, but thank you. Turn this to nav. Go. Pause the stopwatch once we are on the ground. Notate my times. I'm gonna have to build a. I'm going to see how I can do it. I have to build up a spreadsheet. Track all this stuff. I might do that for Wednesday's flight. The jetliner stuff I don't need. I'm not going to time it because it has a built-in chronometer and all that, and it'll tell me, give me all that information. So. Alright, well, I gotta keep it. Alright, here we go. Oops. Okay. Almost there, folks. We're almost there. Plenty of runway. A little bit of bounce, but we made it. On behalf of myself and the entire flight crew, we'd like to welcome you to Agra Air Force Base. Local time is... I'll tell you here in a second. 7:21 in the evening. We understand and appreciate the fact that you would rather be doing other things, but you chose to spend your time with us today. Do join us tomorrow in the A320. South Africa is our... Thank you, Joseph. Agra. It's probably not the correct pronunciation either. Oh, let me note, it was an hour 6 when we landed. Not too bad. Let's see what it says when we are parked. I've never tried Airport Sim. I've not tried Airport Sim either, Joseph, so I don't know what to tell you about it. I know there is a sim, but I think it's just basically like a way of you have to like manage the airport. That's all it is. You're not flying necessarily. You have to like direct all the traffic on the ground and keep up the runways, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so yep, we'll be back 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK in the Airbus A320, departing from Cape Town, heading to Johannesburg in South Africa. So do join us for that tomorrow if you so do wish, either flying or watching. You're more than welcome either way. What's going to be hard, Joseph? What, managing the airport? Well, yeah, it's not easy. I mean, you'd probably be best, just like with farming, you start off with a small airport and try your hand at it and then go from there. But I don't know what else to tell you. Why is there an Allegiant Airline A320 here at that seems like a very weird... Oh, that's the fuel stand. Oh, of course. Go figure. Oh, we think you need fuel. We did very good on the fuel today. It's always a help. Thank you for what, Joseph? What are you saying thank you for? I'm not sure what did I do or not do. I don't know what you're thanking me for exactly, Joseph. But okay, you're welcome. I don't think it's gonna get any better than that. All right, let's go ahead and shut all this stuff off. And let's get our batteries. 1, 2. 2 hours and 27 minutes. That's not too bad. I have a total flight time of 2 hours and 28 minutes. So there we are. It works. The math works. The math adds up. It's not the new math. It's the real math. It works. So, anyways. 2720. There we are. I will wait for the stream to catch up here. All right, there it is. And we're just going to add my numbers real quick while we're waiting. Or just make sure. so I don't miss my numbers. Forget about them until another time. Just get everything done right now, and then we'll wrap things up. There we are. 583 hours so far flying. Anyway, that will do it for today, folks. Sorry you missed it. Really, I truly am sorry that you didn't see the whole thing, but that's okay. You missed out on some good flying, I think. You missed out on some excellent flying, so your loss. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. I will see you all tomorrow, 7:10 Eastern, 11:10 UTC, 12:10 UK, A320, South Africa, Cape Town to Johannesburg. I will see you all then. Do enjoy the rest of your Monday morning, afternoon, evening, early Tuesday, depending on where you are in the world. I will see you all then. I have been and always shall be your host and pilot, Uncle B. Until then, peace, live long, and prosper.